Good afternoon, everyone. We shall start the webinar now. Okay, so today's topic will be Altium 365 Pro Enhancements. Okay, I am Rajeshwari, Application Engineer from PCB Graphtech. Okay, so in this topic, we are going to see about how to advance your design capabilities to the next stage to obtain the competitive advantages. Because from the name itself, you can see there is Pro Enhancements. So we have to reach about the competitive advantages in the next level. So today's agenda will be advance your design capabilities. What are the advancement you can do in the design, and then how the Altium 365 Pro enhancements can help you to do the advancement. Okay, we are going to see this. Later we have the live demo, and finally we have the question and answer session. So you can ask your questions in the chat panel. I'll be answering at the end of the session. Okay, so now we'll go for the first topic, advance your design capabilities. Okay, in the 1991, there was an article with the name of Improving Engineering Design. You can see it here, Designing for Competitive Advantage. Okay, so this article there was a matter. That matter was highlighted here and above, saying that the engineering design has both technological and the social components. Okay, so technological component means it includes the knowledge about your science, design method, engineering models, materials, and the computers. Whereas when you consider the social component, it includes the corporate organization, team design, and the nature of the design work, task and of the designer, customer attributes, and employee involvement. Okay, so now this article we are concentrating based on the team design. Okay, so team design was a big aspect at that time of 1991. But now when we go for the team design, we have to consider some advanced technology, and then based on the methodology of your design, based on the component information, and based on your mechanical driven design. Okay, so first when you consider methodology, so methodology is depends each software. If you take, they will be doing the design, they will be doing the nets, all is common for all the softwares. Okay, when they do the design, but what methodology we apply is differentiating from other softwares. We have to see that. For example, when I design the net, when I draw the nets using the routing, so what is a different way of routing I apply? That is a different methodology I applied to do the routing of net in my design. That is the methodology. Then when you go to the component information, what is the current status of the component? Okay, we have to highlight that. That is the differentiation in the component information. So next is about your mechanical driven design. That is how to share your design to the mechanical software, so that you have an interaction between the ECAD and MCAD, collaboration between the two teams without any missing of your design. Okay, how to have all these within your source and within your team without affecting your data. Okay, so now we see this under Altium 365 Pro enhancements, how it can assist. There are three ways of assisting. So first is based on the areas of team configuration. So under the areas of team configuration, we have like a sharing of your data between the team, all these. Then areas of component management. So how to manage your components within the certain area, and how to determine the life cycle, to determine the where used, all these features for the component management. And under the areas of ECAD, MCAD co-design. So ECAD, MCAD is how to collaborate with the mechanical design software from within the ECAD to mechanical design. Okay, not like transferring like a CAD file like a DXF file or DWG file and then importing to the other software. So when you do this import and export, there is a possibility for missing of data, all these. Okay, so instead of that, how easily we are going to do it by using this Altium 365 Pro. So next one, we are going to see one by one individually. First one is your team configuration. So team configuration, if you take the first one, role and group management. So in this Altium 365 Pro, we can have to assign the roles. Like you can assign the librarian role, engineer role, designer role. So you can assign the role, and then you can assign the members to the group. Okay, if you have assigned the engineer role, and you can assign the members to that role. Okay, then you can share the data between the members of the same role or different role, like that. So you can assign any number of roles, and any number of members can be added to each role. Okay, that is the role and group management, which is done inside the Altium 365 Pro. Then support for single sign-on. So this is to support between the service provider and the link provider by using the web browser. Okay, this is also available from the software. You will see that SSO when you sign in for the on-demand license users. You can see it there, and it is also available for 365 Pro. Then next is change conflict prevention. So when you say about the change conflict prevention, you are working on a team project. So what happens? You will be designing some schematic sheets. Your colleague will be designing the PCB or something like that. So when you're designing a schematic sheet and you have logged the sheet, okay. So when your colleague tries to edit the sheet, automatically the log sheet, when he or she try to edit, the information will be sent to you saying that your log sheet is being edited by your colleague. Okay, so this conflict prevention is done by giving the message to the team members within the organization. So that is about your change conflict. Then next, operation permission support. This is finally to have the control over the organization, that who can edit the document, or who can edit the component, or who can be added as a role. Later I will show you in the software how it happens. So who can be added as a role, or who can be added as a member for adding the component or editing the component or adding the symbols, footprints, models or design. So all this can be done only under the final control of a person. Okay, that is done under this Altium 365 Pro, which is done within the software under the preference. Okay, so for the Pro users, you can do this. Then configurable lifecycle management. So this lifecycle management is used to determine the revision state of the component. Okay, so whether the life state it's a draft state or is an obsolete state. So what is the status of the component can be determined, and it is available for only the Pro users. So next one is Altium 365. Under the Altium 365 Pro enhancement, we have the component management. So component management, we used to manage your components inside the software. Under this Explorer panel, we can manage all your components. You can see it here. So when you manage in the picture, when you manage the components, automatically how you can manage it by going for the component, and you can see it is highlighted in a red color box, that where used option. So for example, if you have one capacitor and you see that the capacitor life cycle is at a risky state, okay, that is going to reach obsolete state. So at that time, you have to know, since it is at a risky state, you should know where this component has been used. Okay, so this component has been used where in all the projects. So it will highlight the projects. When you click on where used option, it will highlight the projects, the documents where it is used. So once you see the documents, then you can see the preview of the component. Maybe suppose if you want to change the footprint, because the footprint is the one is going for the obsolete state. So you can select the footprint and see in which all the components the footprint is being used. Then select the component and you can edit to change the component. Okay, so automatically you can change and replace in all the components locations wherever you want to change it. So it gives you the final status of where this component is being used and what is the critical condition of that component and how you can modify the component at that state. Okay, so that is about your managed component. Then component data link. So this component data link is nothing but component synchronization, what we do in the Altium 365 Pro workspace. So like you can exchange your data. Okay, component data can be exchanged by using your CSV format or Excel sheet format, or you can use ODBC format to exchange to the external source. Okay, to share your data. Okay, component data can be shared between the external sources. Then IHS market component intelligence. So this is a new feature we have introduced in this 21 version onwards. So for example, if you're having a component, and if your component life cycle has been going to end, you know that is going to be end inside your software. So once you go to the manufacturer part search, you will be seeing that life cycle status. So once you see, automatically this IHS market will give you the alternate part. So alternate part to replace that component wherever you are using it. Okay, you can replace the component and you can see the supply chain details, as well as you can see the life cycle status of the alternate part component, which can be replaced immediately to give you a very good solution. Okay, then expanded library health dashboard. So this library health dashboard is available for this Altium 365 Pro to identify the status of the component first. That is, if the life cycle is going to be ended, or is the stock availability of the component is there, or if there is any duplicate part used. So all this information will be given as a separate information in the library health dashboard. Okay, but this is not available in the standard subscription, but in the pro subscription you can see all these informations individually, not only for the duplicate part name, also for the duplicate part choice. Okay, all this information can be seen there. Then simple part request. If you want to have a part request, now you can have a by assigning the role like librarian or the CAD librarian, you can assign the role and then you can make a part request. Okay, so part request can be made to create a component for your in the component management can be done. Okay, so this is not available in your standard subscription. Okay, next, when you go for feature ECAD MCAD collaboration. So ECAD MCAD collaboration, normally we know that we can collaborate the design of rigid flex board with the mechanical engineers like softwares with SolidWorks, PTC Cryo, Autodesk, and the Inventor and Autodesk Fusion. Okay, so first one, if you see there is an advanced copper geometry. Now you can see this advanced copper geometry in your MCAD software after you transfer your board to the mechanical software. Okay, so in the mechanical software you can see the you can see the traces, the wires, and the copper geometry in each layer by layer. Okay, that is the main advantage of this Pro enhancement in the MCAD software. Later, I will be showing that also in my demo. Then rigid flex synchronization. You can synchronize your rigid flex design from your ECAD software to the MCAD software, and you can see the synchronized copper data, the components, all the information in your MCAD software. Then going to the native component linkage, this shows that you can add your components in the mechanical software as well. Okay, once you have transferred your board to the mechanical software, there if you want to add in the components, so you can add in the components for your design, and then later it can be moved to the ECAD software. Okay, this linkage can be done either from ECAD to MCAD software or from the MCAD to ECAD software. So either way you can do linking of your components. Okay, and then transferring it to the other side. So last one is about your enclosure exchange. So this enclosure exchanges in the mechanical software, we provide the casing. Okay, the board casing can be designed and can be put on your board. So once you place the board casing, and then you can be push it to your ECAD software within this Altium 365 Pro. Okay, no need to go for converting your file to IDF format or moving your file to other formats and then opening, importing, and exporting all this, nothing. So using Altium 365, you can just push it to 365 Pro, and then we can pull it in your ECAD software. Okay, So you can do this ECAD MCAD collaboration. Then next is about your support and services. So those who have this Altium 365 Pro will have the high priority access. Okay, meaning that once you have any supports, require any support, you can go for the live chat. Okay, you can see this live chat in the altium.com. So when you go to the support center live chat, you can start your conversation automatically based on your Altium 365 Pro. You will be given the highest priority, so that they will escalate your cases. Altium will escalate the cases immediately to the customer manager, and then they will get back to you by giving you the solutions. They will try to recheck whether your problem has been solved or not each and every time. Okay, so these priority information, this priority access is given for this Altium 365 Pro users. Then there is also on-demand training courses. Okay, if your company new engineers are joining your company, and then these new engineers they don't have much knowledge about the workspace, all this, so there is also on-demand training available for this for the trainees from this Altium 365 Pro users. Okay, so now we'll go for the live demo. So what are the topics we are going to see in the live demo is, we are going to see about the component data or health. So this component data or health is nothing but, so if you have the component in your manufacturer part search and you see it is an obsolete, we have the IHS market. This IHS market will help you to find out the alternate part. Okay, you can click on the alternate part to get the component. Okay, replace the component and place it in your design. Then where used feature. So where used feature means where the components are used inside the different projects or different documents, and then if you want to change it, we can do that. Then next we are going to see ECAD MCAD, advanced geometry copper and wires. Okay, so this is what we are going to see today. So let me go to the software. So I just open the first, let me go to the browser. Okay, I go to the browser workspace. First one, I'm using a Pro subscription. So to confirm that I'm using the Altium 365 Pro, we don't know who is using Pro or whether we are using standard subscription. You can click on your name on the top. You will see there is a Pro option here. Okay, so this indicates that I am the Pro user. Okay, Altium 365 Pro user. Also, you can see here in the left-hand side also, below the logo, you can see the Pro subscription user. Okay, this is for Pro subscription. Okay, I want to compare the Pro subscription with the standard subscription to show you the difference, because if I show Pro, you will know, oh, these features are available, but you will not have known how it is compared with the standard. So I have opened another browser, and then I have already added this standard subscription to show you the comparison as well. Okay, so let me show you in the sideways how to compare with the standard subscription. You can see this is, I'm using in another browser, I'm using another account. So this account, you can see there is no Pro. This is standard subscription. Okay, so first one is Pro, this is standard subscription, and when you click on the name, you will see the name here, but there is no Pro option. Okay, meaning this is under standard subscription. So now let us see the features comparison. So if you go to the standard, we have the project component, MCAD co-designer, workspace admin. Okay, we have all these, same we have here also. But when you go to the admin option in the standard subscription, when I click on the admin, you will see under the admin, you have the settings, sessions, provide all these, but there is no roles. Okay, in the standard subscription, you don't see the roles. Okay, to assign the roles like a librarian, or to assign the roles like to assign the roles like PCB designers or engineers, all this. But if you see, when I click on settings in the right hand side, you have only few options. For standard subscription, we have only few options like general, projects, email notifications. Under walls, you have the components and the data cleanup. Okay, this is the only features we have for standard subscription. But when I go the same thing for the Pro subscription, Okay, under the Pro subscription, you can go for admin. So when I click on the admin, you can see the differences. Okay, so here you see under this, the settings, you have the roles, but you don't see that inside the standard. You see here under the Pro, we have the role settings. So the roles for Pro, you can assign the roles. Okay, when I click on the roles, you can assign the roles like administrator already is their default. You can add in the role like engineers, librarians, managers, designers, all this. And then you can add the members. For example, if I want to click on this, you can edit it by adding the members. Okay, you can see my members here. I have added already. Okay, so you can do all this under the roles. Okay, then going to the settings, you can see the comparison for the settings. So for the Pro subscription, you will see under the vault, you have the part request. So part request, librarian role, then custom states, life definition. So these features is not available for the standard subscription. Okay, so you will have the librarian role. So then custom states, life cycle definitions, all can be done for the Pro subscription users. Okay, so then next step is when you go to the standard subscription user, I'm going to show about the component health dashboard. Okay, so I go to the components panel. Under the component panel, you can see library health. So this library health, you can see all the component details, health, issues, recently added, all this information. But if I want to see the details, like how is the stock, how many components stock availability, duplicate parts, or what are the duplicate parts available, what is the life cycle status, how to see that? You can click on the see details. Okay, so when you click on the see details, so this is under the standard subscription. Okay, so you can update this. Okay, you can just click to update this. When you click on updating, you will see below there is only you have the supply chain, the component details, the models. Okay, and then below you will see get advanced check with Altium 365 Pro. So these options are not available for the standard subscription users, like your stock issues, stock availability, risky life cycle states, then the ambiguous component parameters, outdated template, all these, duplicate by name, all these are not available for the standard subscription. Okay, so if you are a Pro subscription users, okay, now let me go to the Pro subscription user. We go to the component, and then let me see again the details. So when I click on the details, you can click to update here, refresh the dashboard. You will see all the informations like here, the supply chain. So you can see no defined part choices, how many components, stock issues. So 31 component have the stock issues. Then 9 component is having risky life cycle status. Then 47 component uncategorized. So outdated template, 104 components outdated template. So all these informations you can see, and you can keep on update it. Okay, it will be, you can update to see the details. So this is a very good health dashboard we have. So to update your component management, to update the component details like risky life cycle of obsolete, stock availability, all these, outdated template, all this. Okay, so these informations can be available under your Altium 365 Pro. Okay, so now let me go to the software. So when you go to the software, I'm going to, okay, let me sign in first. Okay. Okay, I have signed in. Okay, once I sign in here, I will show you. Let me connect to my workspace. Okay, so once it is connected, in the software also you will be seeing the Pro option. You see, PCB GraphTech, it is Pro. So I'm connected to Pro or standard. You can verify it from here. Okay, then directly you can go to the workspace by click on my Altium 365. Okay, so now in this Altium here 365, as I'm using Pro, I go to the Explorer panel. So go to the Explorer panel to see the component management. Okay, now when you go to this Explorer, you will see the components, part request, because I have the part request option, then the components, all these templates, all I can change it since I'm a Pro user. Now, for example, I want to see the component, the risky life cycle of my component I want to check. So I just go for one of the component like capacitor, and then you have so many components. Okay, for example, I choose where used. Okay, where this component is used. So I know one of my component is risky. For example, I choose this component 0010067. So this component is at a risky life state. For example, maybe due to the pin, you can see the state is only draft here, but still I know the component pin is not good. Okay, it's not correct. So I want to change the component. So I click on the component here. Once I click on the component, below you will see where used. This is a very good feature we have, where all this component has been used. This document under your PCB document, under this PCBA COME document, all these documents, I'm using this component. So in this component, the drawback is only based on the footprint, because the footprint, the pin is bad. I want to change because of it. So I want to change only the footprint. So next step is, you can see under the preview the details of the component. When you click on the details of preview, you will see the symbol, footprint, all this. So from this, you can select the footprint to see in which component this footprint has been used. Because my aim is to identify the footprint from that component and see in which all the components the footprint has been used. And then I need to replace that footprint. Okay, so I'm just selecting this footprint here. So automatically it will open the footprint details. Okay, so once you can see the footprint has been opened, you will see again where used. So in these components, all these components, this footprint has been used. Okay, so once I know this component, I can go for this component and then I can replace it. So if I want to edit this footprint, because I need to change, this footprint is not good. So you can right click, you can go for edit. Okay, edit this, or you can go to the operations, you can change the state of this component, telling this component has been absolute not good. So, and then you can change the component. Okay, replace wherever you want the components you have identified, you can change it off. So this is how you can do the component management within the Explorer panel inside the software itself. Okay, so I just close this about your component management. And next feature is about your operation. Next is about your under the data management. We are going to see the how to maintain your components under the operations to be strictly controlled. Okay, so I go for the server. Under the properties, you see I'm going to Altium 365 Pro server here, and then here I'm going to choose for the properties. So under this edit operations, this will not be highlighted for the standard subscription users. Only for Pro subscription users have the control of this operation. Okay, so they can control that who can edit the components, all these. Okay, click on the operation, you see operation permissions. So edit operation permissions can be controlled here mainly. So who can add the component? For example, for component type, who can add the component? If you click on add, you can just add the role, add user. Okay, add them here. So only those people can add the component type, or those people can edit the component type. So you can choose not only for component type, you can also do for lifecycle definition, then revision naming schemes, then the component release, the footprint, symbol, all templates, and then your all the templates you can see. So you can select and you can add the role, you can add the members, okay, users who can edit and who can view it, all this. Okay, so this is a complete control under this Altium 365 Pro. Okay, so I just close here. Then the last one is about your ECAD MCAD collaboration. So I'm going to push this board here. I have this board, so I want to push this. Let me go here, push. Okay, so when I try to push to a MCAD software, I'm saying that view the copper and vias. Okay, because this is the new feature in the Altium 365 Pro we are going to view the copper geometry and the vias in the mechanical software. So I just to post it. So my board is being pushed to the Altium 365 Pro. Okay, once it is done, so you can see view the copper geometry, it is pushed the date and time. Okay, once it is done, our next step is we have to go for the mechanical software to pull the board. So I open my mechanical software. As I already told you, we can use the mechanical software like your SolidWorks, Inventor, Fusion, then PTC Cryo. Okay, so I have opened the Inventor Professional here. So let me sign in with my account. This is, I am using the Altium Core Designer panel. I have installed this Altium Core Designer in the mechanical software. Then using this, I can pull the board. Okay, this mechanical core designer will help to pull the board from the Altium 365 workspace. Okay, so I just sign in first. Okay, I sign in. So once I signed in, you will see the changes between the standard subscription and the pro subscription. The first step, if you go here, you can see the sign in detail profile settings. Okay, when you go for the setting, you can see build 3D geometry for copper and solder mask. Okay, and this is, you can check box or off. Okay, you can check box here and build vias. So this is available only for the pro sorry, pro subscription users. Okay, so you need to check box here, click OK. Same thing, if I go for the standard users, what will happen? I will just sign out. Let me sign in as a standard user and show you how it looks like. Okay, so I just sign in as a standard user now. Okay, so now I have signed in as a standard subscription user. So when I sign in, you will see here the differences. Again, I go to the settings. You can see that build 3D geometry for copper and solder mask is not highlighting. You cannot click here. Okay, you cannot see this feature in the standard subscription. You cannot click, you cannot activate this. So now I will just go for the standard first, try to pull the board and see how it works. So I click OK. Now I'm in the standard subscription. So I click, I will try to pull the board. So when I try to pull the board, it automatically connect to my Altium 365 workspace. Okay, so I'm connecting, going to pull the board of coming, the same board, but under the standard subscription. Okay, I just open it. So let me save it under the desktop. Okay, you will see the design has been opened here. Okay, so the design has been opened. So when I try to open it in the mechanical software, you can see the components, the trays, all these, but the copper is not highlighted. Okay, you can see the copper will not be highlighted. You can see top placement, the bottom placement, and you can also move the components, all this. This is for the, you can move the components, edit it, board outlines can be edited, all the changes can be do. But you cannot, you can see that the holes, you cannot see the difference in the holes. Like, okay, for example, let me go here to see in detail. You can see, you cannot see the vias. Okay, the vias and the trace, that is plated vias with the copper, you cannot see that, and the traces all you cannot highlight here. Okay, but this is feature is available in the pro subscription. Okay, I will just show that feature. So when I scroll down, we don't have that feature of seeing the copper layers. Okay, copper informations, copper geometry, all this. So let me go to core designer. So core designer, and let me try to sign out. Okay, I signed out. Now let me sign in with the Pro user. So I just .sg. Okay. So I sign in with my Pro account. Then show you the differences. Okay, now we have signed in. Let me go here, go to the settings. First, we check box these two. Okay, under the settings, we can check box to see the 3D geometry of copper and the solder mask and the build wires. Just click OK. So once it is done, now you can try to pull the board. Okay, so we can click to pull the board here. Let me close this first. Yeah, because I'm using another server, so I need to close this. Okay, so now it will be allowing me to pull, because two servers at the same time cannot have opened the board. So I can open now. So when I try to open, I can see this. Okay, so from the Pro subscription, let me save it in my desktop and try to open it. Okay, so it is opening. Sorry, it has been closed for me. Let me see. Don't know why it is closed. Let me check. Okay, so I just sign in. Yeah, it is sign in already. Let me check my settings. Already on. Okay, I try to pull the board. Okay. It's trying to open. Okay, here it is open already. Okay, there is some error. I just ignore the error. I just go to my assembly board. So here we are going to see the differences based on the layer, copper layers. So let me go to the front. Then I show you the copper geometry. So copper geometry, when you go to the copper top layer top, you see this information, you can see it here. When I zoom in, you will see the information of the holes and then the copper geometry of the traces. You can see the holes and the copper geometry. Okay, so this is in the top layer. So this information, you can see it now in detail. Okay, top layer. Then if you choose the ground layer, you can see for the ground layer the differences. Okay, then going to the layer 3. So the layer 3, the wires is there. You can see that. Then the bottom layer. So each layer, you can see the differences with respect to their coppers, traces, and the wires in that layer. Okay, these are the new introduced feature, which you can see the coppers and the wires here. Okay, so this is about your copper geometry in your MCAD collaboration, which is inside the Altium 365 feature we have now. Then let me go to the slides. Okay, I hope I have completed the demo. Okay. Thank you very much for attending. If you have any questions, you can email to sales@pcbgt.com.sg so that I can answer your questions. Thank you very much for attending the webinar. Thank you. See you all in the next webinar.